What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change. And in this video, we're going to do something a little different. Now, this is not a Vancouver Canucks, related video. We're going to be talking about the huge announcement that was made the other day in regards to the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, and the fact that Vancouver will be the home of the 7th PWHL franchise. Right now, there are 6 teams. Vancouver will be the 7th team. And that also means that hockey is returning to the Pacific Coliseum for the first time since the Vancouver Giants called it their home. So this is huge. And I'm really excited for this. We're going to go over an article and break everything down and talk about it and then give our thoughts at the end of the article. I'm also going to do my sponsor after I read the article. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. This is from our friends at Canucks Army. Dylan Nazareth has written this article. And it starts off by saying more professional hockey is officially on its way to Vancouver. On Wednesday, the Professional Women's Hockey League announced that it is expanding west with Vancouver, set to be the league's 7th franchise. Canadian Olympic gold medalist Tessa Bonham, I hope I did not mispronounce that, was on site in Vancouver, joined by the Vancouver Angels, a U11 girls hockey team, who made the long speculated announcement official. The team will kick off in the 25-26 season and will play at Pacific Coliseum, the former home of the Vancouver Canucks. We also mentioned the former home of the Vancouver Giants. From 1970 to 1995, the Coliseum has a capacity of 16,281, immediately making it one of the largest stadiums in the league, and the only one where the team will be the primary tenant. They will practice at the P&E Agrodome. As part of the announcement, they also confirmed the team's primary color will be Pacific Blue, while the second color will be cream. Similar to the first 6 franchises, they will operate under the name PWHL Vancouver until their complete brand identity is announced. PWHL Senior VP of Business Operations, Amy Shear, spoke after the announcement, citing the size of the market, the growth of the women's game in BC, and the strong corporate community as some of the many driving factors behind Vancouver's successful bid. Vancouver's franchise hardly comes as a surprise, as a long-rumored expansion has been one of the worst-kept secrets in sports. Last week, it was reported that Vancouver would be awarded a PWHL team, with the league's website then accidentally confirming the report, teasing merchandise that had yet to be announced. Along with the West expansion, Seattle is expected to be the 8th franchise, but it has yet to be officially confirmed. Following the success of doing so in their inaugural season, the PWHL hosted a takeover tour this year with games played in neutral site locations across Canada and the US. Beyond an initiative to promote the league, they were also seen as market testers for possible expansion teams. Vancouver was the best attended of all the stops on the takeover tour, with 19,038 fans present for a contest between the Montreal Victor and Toronto Scepters in early January. The PWHL kicked off in January last year with 6 teams based in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, New York, Boston, and Minnesota. Currently on its international break, the PWHL is set to resume play this Saturday, with playoffs scheduled to take place in May as teams contend for the Walter Cup. Minnesota were the victor in the inaugural season. With Vancouver's PWHL franchise officially confirmed, let the speculation about the name and draft begin. Details of an expansion draft have yet to be confirmed, but with the wealth of BC talent already in the league, the team is sure to see some hometown skaters on their debut roster. What would you like to see Vancouver's PWHL team called, and who would you like to see on the inaugural roster? So there's that article. Let's quickly dive into my sponsor read, and then we will break down the article. Maybe we'll list off some potential names for the PWHL Vancouver team, as well as I'll give my thoughts on just this groundbreaking announcement and hockey being back at the Pacific Coliseum. So let me dive into my sponsor read, and we'll break all that down right after. Are you looking for an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial colors or dyes, and no calories? Then Dubby Energy is for you. With over 15 plus unique custom-made flavors, go ahead and get a starter sampler pack, which includes 3 different flavors. Use code TheLineChange to get 10% off your next purchase. Dubby Energy, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this article. I'm going to start off by just talking about hockey being back at the Pacific Coliseum and why I think this is, extremely exciting. For those of you that do not know, I have been to the Coliseum several times. Matter of fact, I think I've been to the Coliseum more than I have Rogers Arena. And that was due to me having been a season ticket holder when the Vancouver Giants were playing at the Coliseum. Courtesy of my dad. My dad had gotten season tickets. I believe at one point we were splitting season tickets with a family friend, and then my dad ended up getting 2 additional seats next to it. So we ended up, we were splitting originally, and then he ended up, getting his own 2 seats for myself and him. And we regularly went. It was actually a really nice little father-son bonding time, going to go watch some hockey and, seeing the Giants. The Giants were, at that point, a pretty decent and pretty good team. Not to mention, these are young players who had something to prove. So it was always exciting hockey. And I absolutely loved going to these games. They were a lot of fun. And it was also just quite the experience, being a season ticket holder and, at an affordable price at the time and still getting like the bells and whistles. Like, I believe we still even have our little plaque that was on the bottom of our seat that had our name and how long we had been a season ticket holder. I think we still have that around here somewhere. I'd have to find it. But I just really enjoyed it. And then obviously when the Giants left the Coliseum and moved to Langley, myself in particular was pretty devastated because, Langley is so much further away from at least where I live. I'm on the North Shore. So when they were at the Coliseum, it was literally a 10-minute drive, not even really. I would say like about 10 to 15-minute drive, 10 on a good day when there wasn't any traffic, as it was just over the Second Narrows Bridge, for those of you that are local. So it was a lot of fun. And obviously, them moving to Langley, that was way out of our zone, and we weren't willing to go that far, especially with us having season tickets, as there was a chance we wouldn't be able to make it out to a lot of the games due to it being in Langley. So we ended our season ticket membership for that because of that, and that was a real drag. But now that they're bringing a PWHL team to the Coliseum, I've actually already gone ahead and put down a deposit for season tickets for the PWHL Vancouver team. So I literally just finished doing that. So I encourage anyone who is interested in watching and being a season ticket member for the PWHL Vancouver women's hockey team, go ahead and do it. You can find a link to it on their Instagram page in their bio. So go ahead and do that if you choose to do so. So I'm really excited. Having now put down a deposit for season tickets, I would most certainly go to as many games as I possibly could at the Coliseum and just seeing some really good hockey. And it would most certainly be a different experience, as I've actually never attended a women's hockey uh, game. I never actually got the chance to attend one of those. Well, the game that they had in January at Rogers Arena. I didn't get a chance to attend that, but I heard nothing but great things about it. And so as I keep mentioning, I'm really excited about this. I'm intrigued by how they're going to do the expansion draft and how they're going to build the roster for the PWHL Vancouver team. And I am curious to know if they're going to do it similar to how the NHL does their expansion teams, where, you essentially get to pick, one player from each team in the expansion draft. Now, obviously, there's only 6 other teams in the league, so maybe they won't do that. They'll do maybe something a little different, or I'm hoping they might do something along those lines or similar to it, perhaps. Obviously, we'll know more information in the coming months and prior to the new season starting. Now, um, whoop, whoop, sorry, guys. Yeah. Obviously, hearing that the Coliseum being one of the largest in the league at this point is huge for us. It shows the market that Vancouver has for hockey, and um, obviously, as it details in the article, it talks about the attendance for the PWHL takeover games. Vancouver was at the top, and no, they're pretty ahead of Quebec City, who came in second at 18,259. So that is obviously great to see. That a lot of people were big on the PWHL here in Vancouver. Obviously, also, let me just see here. Yes, this part. And then hearing that, I've seen quite a bit of this over social media today, and it's all in good fun, and it's a lot of it is like joking. But the fact that the PWHL Vancouver women's hockey team has their own arena and has their own practice facility, and the Vancouver Canucks don't. Obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of people are cracking jokes about that. How it's only been in the league for one day, and they already have a practice facility all on their own, and they don't have to share it with anybody. Is quite the a joke going around. I do find it's a little interesting that they were able to quickly get a practice facility, and the Canucks can't even do that themselves. And they've been in, a NHL team for, over 50 years now. So that is most certainly interesting. Obviously, with the Coliseum being on the PNE fairgrounds and the Agrodome being not too far away, obviously makes it ideal for them to use that as a practice rink. I believe I've been to the Agrodome maybe once, and it wasn't even for a hockey event. I think I went to a wrestling show, like a small wrestling show that was at the Agrodome. I believe it was pretty sure it was WWE had like a house show, like back in the day, and they had it at the Agrodome, as I believe the Coliseum was booked for that day, so they had it in the Agrodome. So it was most certainly a smaller show compared to what they would have had at the Coliseum or at Rogers Arena. So there's that. Obviously it's going to be interesting to see. Actually, let's discuss a little bit potential names. Now, I've seen some names, thrown out there, and people trying to incorporate, BC, Vancouver into the name. I think one in particular that I'm actually really keen on and really liked was the Vancouver Riptide. That is a pretty brilliant name, and I actually really like that name. And I do believe it could be a strong candidate for said name. And it also kind of, if you really think about it, it aligns with the other names. You have, let me, does it show it in here? Here we go. Oh, wait, no, it only shows 2 of them. So I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below if I get these names wrong so it's the Montreal Victor, Toronto Scepters, the Minnesota Frost, I believe, the Boston Fleet, right? And then you have, oh crap, here, let me just quickly Google. Here, PWHL. Here we go. Here's the original 6 teams. If it loads for me. There. Okay, it doesn't even say their names. Crap. Oh, here we go. Okay. So yeah, Boston Fleet, Minnesota Frost, Montreal Victor, New York Sirens, Ottawa Charge, and the Toronto Scepters. So obviously those names are pretty darn good. And if you include Riptide, I definitely think it aligns with these names. You got the Fleet, Frost, Victor, Sirens, Charge, Scepters, and if you include Riptides, I think it kind of like works really well with the other team names, and it continues that, I guess you could say, pattern when it comes to those interesting names. Obviously, Riptide is just one suggestion. I think trying to remember some other potential names that I happen to stumble upon. Let me actually see if there's anything in the comments of the article. No, I don't see any names. Although there is one that the Cascadians, which I cannot take credit for. My good friend Alfred is the one who came up with that one. I think that's most certainly a good one as well. Another one would be Vancouver Cascades is one suggestion that I've seen. Black Widows is another one. I actually really like this comment on this article. I hope they go with the name Black Widows. Tons of spiders in Vancouver. Plays off the term for surviving your spouse, and the jerseys would look really cool. I do not disagree. The jerseys would look pretty cool if they were called the Black Widows. Let me quickly Google here. See if there's any. I think one person mentioned Grizzlies, which could work, but we've already kind of used Grizzlies before with the Vancouver Grizzlies. One person said Ravens. Ravens is pretty good. Let me actually bring up Twitter. One thing I don't have up on here. Actually, hang on. I think here, let me look at this real quick. Apologies for this, guys. I'm just trying to find some more potential names that I happen to stumble upon that I don't have in front of me. Some of the ones that I saw were from a live stream that I was a part of. So, here we go. Here I think there's. Let me. One that I suggested was Cyclones, Sidewinders could be another two. Cascadians, as I mentioned. So those are really not very many, but just a few. But let me know in the comment section down below what possible names you guys want for the PWHL Vancouver team. Can't really think of any others off the top of my head. Cyclones was a big one for me. And then obviously, Riptide as well is a big one for me. Maybe something to do with the ocean, or I don't know if orcas would really work, as be kind of conflicting with the Canucks. Maybe something to do with salmon, like a term from salmon, as salmon is very common here in BC. Maybe something to do with the forest, or even like a local BC animal. Heck, Vancouver geese. I don't know. Just one that came off the top of my head. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to The Line Change and would like to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Also hit that little bell and you will get notified every single time we upload a video. Find us on social media. You can find us on Twitter/X at LineChangeVan. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can also find us on Facebook. If you just search The Line Change, you will be able to find our Facebook page. If you are if you prefer a audio version of this podcast, you can find it either on our YouTube channel. Just look for our podcast playlist. You can also find us on Spotify. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts as well. If you do listen to it on those platforms, do be sure to rate and review. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. So as always, well, I guess I can't really say go Canucks go, because this is not Canucks related, but once again, groundbreaking announcement. Hockey is returning to the Pacific Coliseum. Vancouver is the 7th PWHL franchise, and women's hockey is coming to Vancouver. And I'm excited. I hope everyone else is excited for this. This is a huge thing for not only BC, but Vancouver as a city, as a market. And I absolutely cannot wait for this 25-26 season. So that's gonna do it for this. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video.